I actually think that Seoul is a better city to live in than New York City. Yeah. The scale starts at pretty freaking annoying and it goes up to feeling extremely unsafe and scared. There's not tipping culture, and then I found the wonders of Korean skincare. Hey everyone, it's Nikki. I've been living in Korea for about 4 years now, so I'm going to talk about the perks and pros of living in Korea. So, to begin with, safety. I lived in a handful of cities in the USA, and I never felt safe walking anywhere at night, really. I think the worst time was when I was living in Brooklyn, in a cheap, unsafe area of Brooklyn. Yeah, not one of those nice, expensive areas that they have, but yeah, I lived in a very unsafe neighborhood of Brooklyn, and it was very scary walking home at night. And I didn't have a choice because I was working at a restaurant, so I had to come home at night. But someone I knew who actually worked at the same place I worked lived in the same neighborhood, and he actually got robbed late at night. And the guy had a weapon. I'm forgetting if it was a knife or a gun, but he was robbed with a weapon in the same neighborhood that I lived in. So, yeah, fortunately, nothing happened. I tried to be very safe, but yeah, anyways, it's really awful not feeling safe walking places when you have to. But living in Korea, I feel safe walking anywhere at any hour, really. I don't feel like something bad is going to happen to me at every turn and corner. And likewise, catcalling doesn't really happen here. Whereas when I lived in New York, yeah, I was catcalled a lot, and it is not fun or pleasant or nice. It's pretty freaking annoying. That's like, the scale starts at pretty freaking annoying and it goes up to feeling extremely unsafe and scared. But luckily, that hasn't happened much here. I have been catcalled, but it's nowhere at the level that it was in the US, in New York. Yeah, so safety wise, it's really been great living here. Likewise, your things are also usually safe. You'll see people leaving things on the cafe table, laptop, wallet, phone, whatever, going to the bathroom, going out, doing something else, and coming back, and they're not worried about it because generally people do not take your things here. And if you lose something, yeah, if you go back to the place where you lost it, then usually it's sitting right there, or someone turned it in, and you can go to the owner of the store or go to the police, and usually someone has turned in the item that you lost. So that's great. And like, maybe these things seem like small things to you, but it really brings it really changes the atmosphere and feeling when you feel like you can trust the people around you. Now, I'm not saying that Korea is completely 100% safe. There is something you do have to watch out for, especially if you're a woman. If you're going out and you drink or something like this, you need to watch your drinks. And I advise you to go out with a friend that you trust, who can have your back. Watch your drinks. Always keep your eye on your drinks, and do not accept drinks that you do not see coming straight from the bartender. Yeah, because people can put things in your drinks, and well, I don't really party, I don't really drink, but I do have friends that do. I've had friends that do party, and I've heard really bad stories that have happened to people that I knew. And if you're in the expat group online, you're also going to hear bad stories. So basically, be safe when you're going out partying or drinking. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty safe here. I have to say on that note that I actually think that Seoul is a better city to live in than New York City. Yeah. This is, of course, my personal opinion. But if you've lived in New York, you know New York's very dirty. Not only that, but it's very expensive. You have to be rich to have a good time almost in New York. I mean, if you're going out, everything extremely expensive in New York. And even just the cost of living is really high. And in conjunction with that, apartments are very expensive. Whereas here, you can get a studio or maybe even a one bedroom for under 500,000 won, which is under $500. And you can go out without having to spend a lot of money. Eating out is not so expensive. Drinking is not that expensive either. I mean, soju is like $1. Okay, so yeah, I would say in general it's cheaper in Seoul, but not only that, but the nightlife here is lit. I mean, let me tell you, if you're living in New York right now, maybe you've had this experience, but yeah, I used to work in a restaurant in the city, and when I worked the late shifts, I would get off at like 4 or 5 a.m. It really depended on the night. But like almost everywhere was closed. You know what wasn't closed? A lot of the Korean barbecue restaurants. So sometimes I would go there, and this was before I knew much about Korea. But when I went there, oh my god, I fell in love with kimchi and Korean barbecue. Yeah. I mean, it's really good. Come on. But anyway, besides the point, yeah, when I went out there at 4 or 5 in the morning, people were just lit. Like, they were having a good time, whereas everywhere else was like dead. Yeah, there wasn't much going on anywhere else, but you would see people and they're having a great time. Yeah, and it's very much like that here. I mean, before COVID, if you're going out for a night out, people will stay out all night. Like 2 or 3 a.m., like things are dying down in New York or dead or whatever. But here, that's when things get started. And then people will go until the first train back in the morning. So you'll see crowds of people coming out at like 5, 6, 7 a.m., getting ready to go home. Still very much drunk and having a good time. So yeah, I'm a night owl, so that's totally up my alley, but I don't party at the moment. I haven't really been into going out since COVID began, obviously. As you guys might know, Korea is a very small country, and there are some great benefits to that. One of those benefits being delivery. You can get almost anything delivered by the next day, so it just takes a day for delivery. You can be thinking, oh, you know what, I need toothpaste, I'm out of toothpaste, or I kind of feel like peaches. Yeah, you can order all this stuff on your delivery app really simply. The payment, you can have that payment saved in there, so it's really convenient, dangerous but convenient, and super nice. I know when I first moved here, I was very wary about getting groceries delivered. So I would haul out to the E-Mart, which is ways from my apartment, because my local marts didn't stock some of the stuff that I wanted for the things I was cooking. But once I started getting into getting groceries delivered, I realized that the quality is still super great when you order online. So yeah, I order things online now. I even order groceries online now when I need them. Likewise, food delivery. I mean, I've done videos where I order using the Korean delivery app and show that app. Yeah, but there's so much variety in food delivery if you're living particularly in Seoul. I don't know what the surrounding areas are like. If you're living in a place outside of Seoul, please comment below, let me know. But yeah, you can get all sorts of foods delivered, and it's a lot more affordable. There's not tipping culture You know, like in America, I mean, I worked in a restaurant, and I know, you know, servers survive off tips, but here they actually pay their workers. Wow. So you don't have to tip, and that helps when you're ordering delivery. Yeah, and on that note, food here, there's a lot of great healthy options that you can eat for not that much money. For example, kimbap, there are many different kimbap stores you'll see. You can go in there, order a kimbap for less than $5, and you'll get the banchan usually with it, which are the side dishes. So you don't need a ton of money to eat healthy, although I do have to say the fruit here is very expensive. So that is a cost that you kind of have to bear here. And if you're coming here as a public school teacher, you'll probably get the option of having the kupshik, which is the school lunch. And the school lunches are very healthy. I know at my school we have like a calendar that says on each day what there is to eat and what kind of nutrition is in each food. So yeah, overall it's really healthy. If you don't like spice, that might be a problem because they put a lot of the vegetables in gochujang, so that might be an issue if you don't like spice. Okay, and skincare. Let me talk about skincare. So when I first moved here, actually within, I think the first month I got a boyfriend. Yeah, totally crazy. We just met randomly, like on the street. Yeah. But anyway, he was kind of mortified when he found out that all I used on my skin was water. I mean, sometimes I would use makeup remover, but mostly I would use water. And I was surprised at how soft his skin was. It was like baby soft, and that was so new to me. And then I found the wonders of Korean skincare. So I guess I had learned a bit about it before I came. I don't actually remember, but I didn't really use much because I wasn't really into skincare. But once I started learning more about it and trying out different products, I found a routine I like, I found products that I liked, and I do think it made a positive difference on my skin. I mean, let's be real here. In Korea, there's a serious problem with pollution. And it's very much normalized here. I think because everyone has been exposed to it their whole lives or whatever, they view it as a normal kind of part of life. But as someone who came from the US, that was a big culture shock for me. And I also didn't take it seriously when I first moved here because nobody else was. I mean, but then things started happening and I started realizing that the pollution was having an effect on my health. And that's when I realized how serious the problem was. So there's actually an app you can see the pollution. So, you know, I don't know, in the US I would look at the weather in the morning, but here in Korea you look at the pollution. So you have to know whether or not you need to wear a mask. Obviously now you have to wear a mask because of COVID, but before then, whether or not you wear a mask was dependent on the pollution level and whether or not you can have the windows open. If you have the windows open when it's badly polluted, you'll probably start coughing if you're sensitive. I don't even know how sensitive you have to be to start coughing. Anyways, it's not good for me. My throat starts hurting. But let me show you. Right now, fortunately, it is good. So the pollution level is good right now. But yeah, you'll see when the pollution gets bad, it gets really bad. And you can see someone wearing like a gas mask when it's super bad. And that's scary because it's just something I took for granted when I lived in the US that, you know, the air was clean and it was safe to breathe in. But here, it's really made me even more concerned about climate change and the effects that we're having on the planet. Having said that, Korea's really good with recycling. Korea is one of the best countries with recycling. and that is something that the US definitely needs to work on. So, you know, there's pros and cons with every country. And I have to say the healthcare here is really great. I have heard that doctors kind of try and get you out as quickly as possible here, but that has not been my experience. I've met very kind, very great doctors. I have a really nice doctor right now. She's amazing. If you have a health condition, I don't think that should prevent you from coming to live in Korea, to be honest. I think it might take a little bit of work to navigate the health system. If you're coming to Seoul in particular, there are international clinics you can go to. I would advise anyone moving here to get the lay of the land in terms of international health clinics. Just in case anything happens to you, you should go there. Always prioritize your health. It can be scary to have to deal with a health situation when you don't speak the language, but there is a number you can call that can help you with that. And if you're kind of shy doing that, I'm sure even if you go there and fumble your way through it, you can get through it. Never be scared to go to the hospital just because of the language barrier here. Yeah, so overall, I really love living here in Korea. I love Seoul, and those are just some of the benefits to living here in Korea. I'm sure there's a lot more that I haven't mentioned, so I'd be very happy to do another video if there is interest around this topic. If there's some other video that you're interested in seeing, let me know in the comments below. And so if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing, because I do videos related to Korea and learning Korean. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!